is a free agent. Could possibly.
Gentlemen, folks, welcome back to the Late Hit. I'm Matt Foster. Alongside me is Chad Simpson and Habe.
Hello.
Episode number 5, if we're counting. I'm not. I am. I'm counting.
We're veterans.
Yeah, we're pretty much pros at this point. So
Pretty much locked in.
before we get too deep into this, go ahead and follow us on Twitter if you haven't already. Shame on you. At the Late Hit 317. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as a few of you have already. And
Right there.
yeah, there.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. But moving along, we're going to start with the NFL. Sucks that we're already done with the regular season, with the postseason. It's over.
Yeah, but the news just keeps rolling in.
It doesn't stop. Once you pop. I shouldn't have done that, I'm sorry. Yeah, you shouldn't have done that either. The biggest news right now is the free agency market. Lots of huge names out there. Most notably, I think, guys like Doug Martin. Obviously, they're talking about Von Miller, Malik Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey. Guys, who stands out to you as some of the most important free agents hitting the market who you don't think will go back to their teams?
That I don't think will go out back to their teams. That's hard.
I think Chiefs secondary is going to kind of fall apart. Defense has been good for a long time because they've got Eric Berry and Sean Smith.
Yeah.
I think Sean Smith is very underrated cornerback.
Sure.
And I doubt they're going to re-sign him. I don't think they'll be able to pay him with all the other players they have on defense, especially if they want to keep Berry. So,
Well, we know where you guys want him to go.
Where?
The Colts.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Obviously.
Oops.
I'd like to see him go to Minnesota, but they got a pretty good young group of cornerbacks there. Not
Yeah.
that we wouldn't bring him
Obviously,
in with
yeah.
open arms, but
losing Toller.
Exactly, that's what I was
Sean
going to
Smith will
say.
be nice.
And you know, I like Greg Toller. He's not a huge producer, but he's been there a little while. And
really, the Colts need a franchise guy on defense.
Exactly.
After losing Dwight Freeney and many years ago losing Bob Sanders, that defense has not been the same since.
Not that it was great, really,
Well,
but there was some chemistry.
But there
you
was,
know.
chemistry is huge, and I think Robert Mathis is holding things up pretty nicely, but they need some guys in there that just pure veteran power that are just gonna knock your socks off.
Yeah,
Vontae Davis is
Vontae Davis is
yeah,
good.
good shutdown corner.
Yeah.
and you know, we've had some busts on defense recently. Most notably, Bjorn Werner had high hopes for him coming into the league, and
I think he's developing. You know.
I think
He's not a bust yet. I wouldn't give him a bust
I think-
tag yet.
I think for him it's too little, too late. I think the Colts are ready to move on from him.
Well, and last year he showed some promise towards the end of the year.
Sure,
and I
yeah,
thought
that's what I
coming into
mean,
this
you know.
year he was gonna take another step, but he really didn't.
No.
And I'm not sure about injuries and
Does he-
stuff. I don't know if
Does
he
he
had
play with
any-
his? Does he play with his hand in the dirt, or is he using up at the outside linebacker position?
He stands up quite a bit.
Stands up. Maybe that's the problem. Some of those guys
Just a
have,
little bit, yeah.
in college they play down so much, and they just molded their game around that they're not used to playing back like a Dwight Freeney or Robert Mathis. They're always better with their hand in the dirt. Freeney's gotten a lot better on defense with that. You know, being up, and the Arizona Cardinals have a great defense and their coach is great to teach them that. But
Yeah, and he did
maybe
a
that's
little
the
bit at
problem.
San Diego too. So
yeah,
yeah. Right. Mathis hadn't done bad standing up. I was kind of surprised. I was kind of worried about how he was going to do, but he's done pretty
He's
well.
doing
yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, if he stay healthy.
yeah.
Some of the guys I'm most excited to see hit the free agency market are kind of wild cards. Like, you don't know what the rest of their career is going to hold. Guys like Reggie Bush. I know you said earlier you'd take a chance on Reggie Bush. You're grunting.
I wouldn't. I think he's done. He's so. He's not a north and south runner. I think that's what the NFL wants right now. They're tired of the juking and dancing. He's lightning. Remember that from the USC days. I hate to talk about it as a
Can we
Notre
not?
Dame fan, but
Can we not talk about those days?
but Thunder and Lightning, he was great, and he's a great open field guy. If they maybe want to convert him into like a slot guy, maybe. I don't know how his hands are these days, but I don't. At running back, I think he's done. I think it'd be best for him to not be a journeyman anymore and just maybe hang up his cleats. I don't feel.
Oh,
like,
you think
yeah.
it's time to hang up?
I think it's time.
I disagree.
I
I mean,
might.
maybe not necessarily disagree. I disagree that he's not a north and south runner because look at his. I think he wasn't in New Orleans, but he had a great year or two in Miami, and he had a great year in Detroit. He had
Detroit's
really
got
good
a
years.
crowded backfield though.
Yeah. Well, no, and
He knows
I
when to
think
stick there.
I think he would have stayed there, but I think he's ran into the same problem. I think he finally became a north and south runner, but I think his problem he ran into is the injury bug.
Yeah,
He can't shake
It's
it.
tough for him to get
And
rid of that.
Yeah, I would take a chance. I wouldn't give him big money, but I would take a chance because I think if he does play and does stay healthy, I think he's still a playmaker. I don't think he's never down back still, but I
No,
think he
that-
could be a
okay.
third down back,
Maybe
change
I'll,
of pace guy.
I'll take back my statement. Maybe he is not. He's definitely not a every down backer. I don't think
I don't think so anymore.
I don't think he ever had that. He got hit in the mouth in New Orleans in that division, and it just shook him up. He plays better on those screens on the flank, and it's just that is not as successful in the NFL. I think if you're going to be a running back, you have to run north and south, unless you have a good enough quarterback to throw you the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're talking about all in the same breath, really the Colts, we're talking about running backs and free agency. Donald Brown is up for free agency. I found out he's the highest paid third string running back in the league. Now you know that.
I don't like him. I never have, but I mean I hated it because we would just get stuck at the line, and then he would come in, and it wasn't because he was good. It would just happen to be that play that there was a hole, and everyone, well, Donald Brown, just not Donald Brown. He looks like a middle schooler out there, and I've never
nice.
thought he was very good, but he's been on the Chargers what?
Couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm not giving him any money.
The NFL is my favorite thing in the world, and I didn't even know that. So who cares about Donald Brown? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Going running backs and talking about coming out of the backfield, whether they're still a workhorse. I have no idea why the Bears are going to let Forte go. I mean, I get you have to choose
It's money.
between who you're going to... Well, I know, but I'm saying, I don't know, man. He's still killing it. He's always been killing it. He still has.
Are they going to pay
Yeah.
Cutler next year? Do we know? Because
Should
if
we
they're
really
going
get into that?
well, I think so. If we're talking about the cap, if we're talking about,
I think they're gonna keep Cutler. They're gonna pay him because they think he's the guy. And he did make strides this year. I watched the NFC North like.
He had his best
Doesn't
touchdown to interception ratio
That
of
is
his
true.
career this year.
But here's the thing with Cutler, and I'm gonna make a thing about this because it kills me when they do this to quarterbacks, especially young ones like him. He has a different coordinator and a different head coach every year
Oh yeah.
in the last 5 years. How do you expect to be successful?
Yeah, look at Brady Quinn. That's all I'm saying about that.
No, but seriously, you got a different guy every year. You bring in a guy from Canada, from the Canadian Football League. He's supposed to be a guru on offense, and he didn't do anything for him.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Cutler did nothing. And he got John Fox this year, which I think John Fox can be the guy to turn him around and maybe make him a playoff contender, but they got to beat Green Bay, and I am happy to say that they have to beat the Vikings twice. It's going to be hard to do. The Vikings are good.
I think
And I'll just leave it at that. I won't plug the Vikings too
I
much.
think a lot is going to depend with the coach situation on their draft.
True.
Which I've...
Well, let's not forget that they had Kevin White in last year's draft. He got injured, and was it in before the season even started pregame? They didn't even have a weapon. Kevin White's awesome. I mean, he was great in college at Louisville.
Well, and I'm saying if one of these top 3 tier quarterbacks dropped him, which more than likely 2 of them will, do you snag one, start developing him?
Sure, absolutely.
And then not try to pay Cutler at the end of next year?
Save
depending on
it
how he
with the
plays?
backups. I got some good ones coming up here in maybe the next segment here. I'm not sure.
So who do you think would be a good fit for Matt Forte?
I hear rumors that he could go to New England, and we were talking about that at the beginning of the show. Chad and I were before you sat down, and let's be honest here. Let's get a thing with the NFL. Please don't let that happen because the New England Patriots do not need Matt Forte.
Well, it's going to happen because they get every player that I like. They always draft players I like coming out.
That's
They always
true, but
take
You always find these guys. Bill Belichick gets these guys off the street that have been sitting on the couch for 2 years, like LeGarrette Blount, and they go and they break records or they run for 400 yards against the Colts. I'm sorry, but that happened, and who knew?
He went to Notre Dame.
I know he did, and
You're welcome.
But Jonas White or Jonah White.
Jonah Gray.
Gray.
You're almost
Jesus Christ.
You want black, gray, white, and yellow?
Yeah.
The hell kind of fan are you?
Stop it.
And I believe it's called Screet. You said Bill Belichick picks people up off the street. I think it's called Screet now.
Screet? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He could end up in New England. Where else would you think he would fit?
What do you think?
Indianapolis.
You don't like Frank Gore?
I didn't say all that.
I know, but
I just want the Colts to have all the good players in the league.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I?
I don't think. I
True fan.
I think
Pick 'em
Forte would be awesome in New England, but that's just not really their style to take players like Forte. I don't think because he's not coming off the couch. He's still great.
He wants money.
And he wants money, and I don't think they're going to give a running back that kind of money. You look at what they do; they run
Their
through
pass,
full rotation.
Yeah, you get a guy like
four-man
Deion Lewis.
rotation, yeah.
Deion Lewis, I think, is going to have a great year next year. We saw
Well,
flashes of brilliance,
yeah.
I think, last
That is a
season
good point.
before he got hurt. I think.
Who else would Matt Forte fit into? I just heard that about New England. I can't think of a team. Really.
I mean, teams. If you go through teams that need a running back, you could say Dallas,
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay,
Tampa Bay,
especially if another free agent, Doug Martin leaves.
New Orleans.
What about
But is
keeping it in the conference with or in the division with the Bears?
and
They've got a young.
and a lot of times you see that.
Yeah, and that they got a young running back core now with Theo Riddick from New England or from. I will never say that again. I'm sorry. From Notre Dame
in Detroit.
and yeah, but he.
don't you
what's the other guy? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I thought you heard where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I don't mean to ever say that. I'm sorry. What's their running back's name? The rookie this year.
Who?
Detroit's rookie. He got hurt.
Oh, not Theo, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Oh, man, it starts with an A. It's
Ahmad.
Ahmad. That sounds right.
Aye.
Yeah.
Ahmad Rashad.
He's good.
Yeah.
So he probably won't.
Yeah.
But,
Amir Abdullah.
Amir Abdullah. There you go. Nice.
Bang.
Thank you.
He's
I feel like I was on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Amir Abdullah.
Tennessee Titans.
Ooh, I like it.
Pair him up with Mariota.
There you go.
I think he'd be a good fit there, and they need a back. I mean,
Jacksonville.
You always hear from Tennessee, oh, these young.
Who they got in Jacksonville?
Oh, they just drafted T.J. Yeldon.
T.J.
but,
Yeldon.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still taking Matt Forte.
Well, we all know that Alabama running backs don't do jack in the.
Come on, Trent Richardson was good. Moving on, I think
Eddie Lacy's fat. We got all that.
Hey, you hear that, Derek?
Anyway.
Eddie Lacy is fat.
Yeah,
I'm glad
he's a
you
chubby
said that.
buddy.
He's a nice man.
Well, I've heard otherwise, actually.
He probably runs a 7.2 now, 40. I bet. He is slower.
You think he sped up a little?
Yeah. He's getting quick.
Wow.
You gotta be quicker than that.
You gotta be quicker than that.
Oh,
I
gosh.
got a 6.04.
Just put a Twinkie in the end zone. Let him run towards that.
He's not running anywhere for 120. He's gonna be a pack.
All right, get things back on track here.
Sorry.
Of the
Give me
free
time,
agents in the NFL, who is going to be franchise tagged? We got Von Miller, Brock Osweiler. That's a back and
It's
forth.
definitely. I think you definitely take Vaughn.
Vaughn for sure.
I think you have to. If
Super
they
Bowl
don't do that,
MVP.
they're absolutely
You're,
stupid.
yeah, but it's a question. I mean, they gotta decide. They could lose one and maybe draft, which I don't think is the best decision because there's not gonna be enough. There's not gonna be a good quarterback available. And someone's gonna pay Brock Osweiler basically.
Mhm.
Cleveland, Houston.
God, he might reject Cleveland and play for free in Denver.
I would.
I would for sure.
I would for sure. But and you got the LA Rams may need a quarterback too. But speaking of quarterbacks in the free agency, we got RG3. Where could he land? That's bigger news, I think, than what the Denver situation is because, like you guys said, Von Miller's getting the franchise tag there.
Yeah.
Brock Osweiler will get paid. He's not going to get a big contract. He's not going to get the franchise tag because that's going to go all the way to Von Miller. But if you had to sign a long-term deal to a quarterback, would you do it to Brock Osweiler or Kirk Cousins? And we'll get to RG3 in a second. I'll hold that.
Man.
That's tough. I kind of like Kirk Cousins. Dude's fiery.
You like that?
You like
Kirk?
Yeah, I do like Kirk. I think I see some flashes of brilliance with that guy. He's definitely passionate.
I really think he developed this year pretty well. And the same type of deal with Jay Cutler. He's had different coordinators in the last 2 years. If this guy sticks around, they could, something could happen there, and maybe in the playoffs. That division, it doesn't matter. One of the 4 teams, who it is, they're going to be in the play. They could all be in the playoffs at the end of the season. It's just a matter of who wins what games.
I think I'm 100% every single time taking Kirk Cousins. I think he's proved way more.
He's played more games.
Yeah, but I think he's played way better from what I've seen. I think he's way better in the pocket. I think he has a better arm.
Sure. But back to the divisional thing, he plays against a weaker division than Brock Osweiler does.
Yeah.
And in the AFC, he's playing the Patriots. He's playing the Steelers. He's played the Bears. I mean, that's not the same conference, but they're a good team.
But they also have the number one defense in the league.
That's a good point.
Backing him up.
So who would you rather sign to a long-term deal, though? If you would rather have his defense taking him further, and he could manage the team just like Peyton did.
I know you said. Are you talking like a different team, like any team, and I'm choosing a quarterback? I'm taking Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
And I think they have good. Him and Jordan Reed is a great young tight end. Have a really good connection. Jordan Reed was my fantasy tight end in every league. He killed it.
Nice.
But I'm taking Kirk Cousins, and I don't think Washington lets him even close walk out that door, because I bet you somebody wants to pay him, and it's so hard to find a quarterback, and Washington knows that.
Sure.
Especially over the years they've had with quarterback struggles and all that, I don't think that you can let him leave from what he's done.
And I don't think you walk away from a quarterback who's trending upward.
Yeah, sure. Now I'm thinking Kirk Cousins too. I just wanted to ask that question, but if by some chance they did let Kirk Cousins go for some stupid reason, what are the chances of him getting signed by another team and having the Matt Flynn syndrome? Passes for 400 yards a game, 700 touchdowns, and goes to
Matt Castles.
Yeah. What?
I definitely see that happening, because I said before that I don't think he is great.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the whole RG3 him thing was going, I kept telling him he came and had 1 or 2 good games, and everybody was like, "Oh, way over RG3," and I was like, he's not that good, at least not yet. Which he did improve a lot this year. He played really well. I'm not saying he's not good, but I think he was really comfortable where he is, good in that system, and I could see that happening if he went somewhere else, not being as good.
Everyone criticized Washington for picking 2 quarterbacks in that draft like that, right? Bang bang, right?
That's a good point.
But did Kirk Cousins had the same situation that a lot of rookies have, sitting behind and getting the chance to get the reps in practice, even though RG3 was the same year and everything. He did what Kirk Cousins could have done. They could have chose Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins could have been great for a season, gotten a Rookie of the Year maybe, and then nothing happens. But, speaking of RG3 though, I know we want to talk about him. Mm-hmm. How about that? Segue.
Yeah, they're... I think what a lot of people are looking at is where is RG3 going to land, because he's going to come back. A lot of people think, you included, or you especially, you think he's going to come back and play really well, maybe live up to his name a little bit coming out of college. 4 teams right now that are the forerunners for landing RG3. Who do you got?
The four teams that are interested are Houston, Dallas, and in no particular order. Houston, Dallas, LA, and feasibly Philly. You got to think that Philly's got to get somebody in there. Yeah. But I have heard rumors about Denver. Maybe bringing him in as a backup.
That's what I was going to say.
It's silly, but
that's something I read the other day was Denver, especially if they may lose Osweiler. I don't know. I'm not a guy that's like, Brock Osweiler's definitely the starter. no matter who they bring in. I think RG3 could beat Osweiler out.
A lot of people thought Brock Osweiler should have started over Peyton Manning. How do you think that would have ended up?
Are you going to tell me that Brock Osweiler is better than RG3's rookie year when he came in and he played a full healthy season?
Well, I like that.
Maybe we haven't seen
we
enough,
don't know,
but
we don't know because he's only played 6 games.
And I'm saying I think RG3
in the middle of the
start
season.
over him.
Yeah, he came in the middle of the season. He didn't have fresh out of preseason and all that stuff, getting the reps, fresh reps. He sat for 10 weeks and then played 6 games and didn't do anything wrong. He didn't. We got to admit that he didn't throw 9 interceptions in 6 games. Stat check that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he didn't do anything wrong. So why not? Why not keep Osweiler?
As much as I don't want to see him really go to Denver, RG3. It's not that I want that. I think it'd be cool to see him in either LA to start them out fresh with a guy like RG3. He'll sell tickets for sure. Yeah. And they got to be looking for a guy that'll do that. Pair him up with Todd Gurley. That'd be sick. And it would be great for Houston. They need a guy.
Exactly.
They need a guy
he'd go back home to Texas, and there'd be tickets there. I mean, Baylor, they loved RG3. They got a statue of him outside of their stadium. He's the first Heisman winner there. Now,
with that being said, as much as I would love to see him in either of those 2 organizations, I think I would really like to see the off-season competition for the starting job in Denver between he and Osweiler. I think that'd be cool to watch.
I really think that John Elway is. John Elway and Gary Kubiak, they had no problems with Brock Osweiler while he was in there. They're not going to bring in a guy and pay him, especially with a guy with injury problems in both legs. Who knows what else? Concussions too. I just think that's not gonna happen. Some other teams that need quarterbacks though are Cleveland, San Francisco, if they're not happy with Blaine Gabbert, and this is my wild card here, New Orleans. Drew Brees is nearing the end of his career. Could RG3 come in and learn a thing or 2 from Drew Brees? Finally have a quarterback to sit behind and really watch. That's older, much wiser, and has Super Bowl rings.
He'll take
with a quarterback with a coach like Sean Payton.
No, he'll take a starting job right now.
Well, I'm glad he's
a smart guy.
I'm glad you said that because I think the best fit. I think there's 3. I think the 3 best fits for him. One is Dallas, because I think he should go in there and sit for 2 years behind Tony Romo until they get rid of him. New Orleans. Sit behind Breeze, learn a little bit, get to know that system.
Get your feet back under you a little bit.
Because that's the problem. They change systems, just how you were saying earlier. Get to know that system, get good, get healthy, stay healthy, and then I think San Francisco running Chip Kelly's offense would be awesome. Because that's what he's built for.
That's what I was gonna bring up. What about Kaepernick?
Kaepernick is gone. He's gonna be a free agent. We didn't write
that
down.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I must have missed that one.
Not necessarily.
I'm pretty sure I thought he was a free agent.
I don't know if he's a free agent. I don't think he's a free agent necessarily. But there's talk of whether they're gonna get rid of him, like even cut him. But because they owe him some money and stuff. But what I had said was I would keep Kaepernick and I would start Kaepernick, especially in that offense. You have to think about that offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and it's weird that you said that because I feel like I've heard so much about it. Could Chip Kelly, uniting with Colin Kaepernick, save both of their professional careers?
I don't think Colin Kaepernick wants to be in with Chip Kelly. Maybe that's what it was, not free agency. I know that he openly came out and said he doesn't want to play for Chip Kelly because of Chip Kelly's alleged racism in Philly.
Bunch of garbage.
I know, but it's people get these things said about him.
Marco Murray's black.
I know.
I understand,
but
I doubt that. First of all,
here's the thing: is these players, they don't like him, so they start rumors about him. He's known and notorious for being not liked. He's like a Bill Belichick type. Mm-hmm. He's quiet. He's reserved. He barks at practice and he barks during the game, and it seems to come off targeted towards black players.
Mm-hmm. I think...
so that's the first thing people are going to say, and especially in the media. It gives them something to talk about.
Yeah, and based on what I've heard, he just doesn't have any communication with his players.
Yeah, he has no communication skills.
They don't I've heard that they can say something to him in the hall, and he doesn't respond.
Mm.
I think that there needs to be a coach. Somebody's got to coach a coach.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good idea.
Fantasy coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, write that down.
All right.
Don't write
I
that
think,
down.
people are hating on Chip Kelly in Philly. First off, he has a winning record.
Yeah, he's done nothing but win there. This
His
season
winning
was-
record. He didn't have a quarterback. Sam Bradford played awful. I'm sorry. I didn't like how they used Murray. I didn't think they used him near enough. And I thought he had a great deal with him and Matthews, because Matthews would be a starter on half the NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then going to San Francisco, and getting a quarterback that can also run like RG3 or Kaepernick, I think only makes that offense a little better, because that's what it's built for. Think of all of his quarterbacks. All of them could run.
Yeah.
Except for Sam Bradford, and they didn't do that well.
I'm still questioning that whole trade. That was awful, getting rid of Nick Foles.
Final thoughts on the NFL, guys. I feel like we have hung out there for a while.
do that all night.
Yeah, we can talk about that forever. Retirees, big year for folks retiring. Justin Tuck, we're fans of his for obvious reasons.
Yeah, for Notre Dame.
Yes, sir. Love him.
He said in an interview that he would go back if the Giants wanted him, but they didn't call, so he decided to retire.
They never call. All right.
Another retiree is, this was news today, Heath Miller, after 11 years and 2 Super Bowl wins.
Been wondering when he's going to retire.
Yeah,
he's old.
He's
at least
a great
400.
He's a great blocking tight end, though. He was really one of the best.
Still
blocking
has
tight
great
ends.
hands, too.
He was drafted 30th overall out of Virginia in the 2005 draft. 2-time Super Bowl champion, like I said. One of the first of 12 tight ends all time to reach 6,000 career yards. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good for him, 2 Super Bowl wins. He couldn't have been happier.
He's had a great career.
Yeah, he
As for great careers,
Oh,
but sadly no Super Bowl wins, why I'm wearing my Viking shirt today, Jared Allen retired after 12 NFL years. Drafted 4th round to the Kansas City Chiefs. He spent 4 years in Kansas City. He was traded to the Vikings for 3 draft picks, including a first-round draft pick. He browsed the free agency after 6 years in Minnesota. He ended up in Chicago for the Bears, and he got traded in 2015 on loan to the Panthers, where he appeared in his first Super Bowl win. And after being plagued with injuries for a couple of years, he's decided to hang up his cleats. He's 9th overall all-time in sacks.
It's pretty impressive.
Out of these 2 guys, real quick, I don't want to jump too far into this, just a yes or no. Is Heath Miller a Hall of Famer?
I don't know. It'd be close. I
Okay.
think he has the stats, and I think you have to put what's not on the stat sheet is his blocking, which he was
Sure.
great at.
The eye test
I
kinda
think
thing.
he could make it in.
Sure. As a tight end, when you look
Yeah.
at other tight ends, he's kind of in there. What about Jared Allen?
Yes, I think Jerry Allen's a Hall of Famer. You look at him in his prime. He was unblockable.
Yeah.
He was
He
really,
was a sack
really
master,
good.
yeah.
I definitely think he's Hall of Famer.
He led the NFL in sacks in the last decade. By
yeah,
far.
and 9th all time. That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's
Me,
a good
yes,
company.
and yes.
Good.
If for no other reason than Jared Allen, I think is the last real cowboy alive.
Yeehaw!
Nice.
Yeah. Also looked like you were turning, was it pudding or
I
something?
don't even know exactly what he does.
Stirring potatoes?
Oh,
He's-
yeah.
I'm glad you guys brought that up. When he sacks a quarterback, he puts his knee over him, and he used to be in the rodeo. He
Hog
is-
ties him.
Hog ties him,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Throw in the firewood!
As for me, Jared Allen, absolutely one of my favorite Minnesota Vikings, and Heath Miller, no, I do not think he's a Hall of Famer. I think that because of people like Shannon Sharp and Tony Gonzalez and the great Rob Gronkowski, I don't think Heath Miller's going to get in, sadly enough. He is a great blocking tight end, though, but I
He's
don't
gonna
think
be
he's
tough,
going to get in
but
because it's
he's got
the
some.
Hall of Fame is all about stats. I really do think that, and he doesn't have a big stat line.
Tyler Eifert. Okay,
Moving on.
moving on. NFL, we'll get back to you soon. Like I said, we could talk about that
All day.
for the rest of the night. But Habe's got some Major League Baseball news.
Back again.
Yesterday, pitchers and catchers reported.
They sure did, and earlier this week they were allowed to report, but I think Thursday was the first official day. Just some quick things, just some stories that are going around. Jonathan Papelbon apologized to Bryce Harper this week after serving his 4-game suspension for his incident on September 27th. He put his hands around Bryce Harper's neck after he flied out in the 8th inning, just after Papelbon appeared on the mound and they were losing. After that heated discussion, he apologized publicly, and I think Bryce Harper, after the incident happened, he really didn't think about it. He said it was like family fighting, just brothers. We fight all the time. But it was on video, so it became a big story. The Nationals had playoffs written all over them that season, and I think it was just bad blood, turmoil, being pissed off about not being as good as they were expected to be. That's basically it. Zach Greinke threw his first bullpen for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're happy to have him there. I tell you what, he did great things in L.A., and I think he'll do great things for the Diamondbacks. They got a great defense. He's got a great defense behind him. Basically, as simple as that. Greinke had the whole front office out there, all the management, everybody watching him. Who wouldn't? He threw his first pitches as a D-back. Carlos Carrera, the AL Rookie of the Year, signed a huge deal with Adidas, and he spent his whole first day of spring training filming a commercial for Adidas, which I thought was kind of silly.
Looking fly, I'm sure.
Probably looking real fly. This guy, Carlos Carrera, came into the league and was everything. I mean, he was a great shortstop. He hit better than some of their veterans. I mean, he was great. He really hit the ground running in his debut. Kind of a funny story. I don't like to talk about the Cubs often, but I will be non-biased for the show.
Are you a Cubs fan?
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber.
If I'm going to call myself a fan, but I want to be the Cubs.
I can't tell you.
I just learned a lot about Chad.
Feels real bandwagony, so I can't feel bad saying it out loud.
Usually the Royals.
Anyway, you got connections there.
And I'm not a bandwagon.
Okay.
You can't be a bandwagon Cubs fan, can you?
Well, and I mean, you saw a lot of people pop up this year.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it was because of this guy, Kyle Schwarber. He launched a batting practice home run into a windshield on Wednesday, and because of that, today he did not practice on that field because that field faces out towards the parking lot.
Getting homers out there.
Yeah, and kind of a big story that's been roaming around this last 2 months. Juan Uribe finally signed a 5-year deal, estimated 5 years, with the Cleveland Indians.
The heck regard.
Yeah. Well, he's 37, so maybe not. He'll be playing third base.
Put him at 3.
Giovanni Urshela is dealing with some shoulder injuries after last season, and he will likely get the starting nod for the Indians while Urshela is rehabbing in AAA. Uribe's been a journeyman, that's an understatement, for his whole career. He played for the Rockies, the White Sox, the Giants, the Dodgers, the Braves, and the Mets over 15 years. Last season he hit a .253 and 14 home runs, 43 RBIs, and a .737 OPS, which is pretty good, in 119 games. He played last season alone. He played for the Angels of Anaheim, the Braves, and the Mets. So, real journeyman. And our good friend of the show and MLB analyst, Zach O'Neill. I sat down with him and had a little bit of an interview about the whole bringing the designated hitter into the NL, which I don't think it's a good idea. It changes the whole strategy of National League. For those of you that don't know, the AL has a designated hitter, and usually they move them around within the rotation, and all he does is hit. And then the NL, the pitcher, the starting pitcher, hits in the 9-hole. And here's what Zach said about this bringing the designated hitter to the NL. He said the strategy involved in the National League is beautiful. The bunting, the moving of runners into scoring position, the risk of having to leave in or take out a pitcher in a big situation makes the game so exciting. The American League takes no effort or strategy. You just let the lineup hit, and you let the game go from there. While I understand the younger generation like the long ball and the high-scoring games, it is undeniable that the best part of the National League games are the pitching duels. Close nail-biting games that take a whole team and manager to control the outcome. It makes for not just a physical game, but a mental game between both managers, who can utilize their team in the most effective way to win a great game. Situational situational baseball is a beautiful thing, and if it ever went away, I would be devastated. That's from Zach O'Neill, our resident MLB baseball analysis.
I like that, Zach.
It's good stuff.
It's pretty good.
He is a Cardinals fan, but I'm going to ask him to be non-biased this season about some of our analysis. Yeah, it'll be rough.
Good luck. My question for you in regards to Major League Baseball is: Jeff Samardzija the best wide receiver in baseball?
He is the best wide receiver in baseball, hands down.
I concur.
Easy.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't mention this in the news just because they haven't really taken off in San Francisco yet. But he has been traded from the White Sox to the San Francisco Giants. Huge for him.
Like
he's making a ton of money.
$94 million contract.
Something crazy like that over 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
And he is just it really. If we're gonna tie in the NFL to this with him being a receiver, he's making way more money than he'll ever make.
In fact, I
in the NFL.
Smart man.
Yeah.
I had somebody.
And he's a great pitcher. I mean, he's in a rotation with Tim Lincecum. He's got a defense with Buster Posey and Angel Pagan. Those guys are great.
I had to set somebody straight recently. They were, as much as I would love to see Jeff Samardzija catching footballs in the NFL,
Sure.
it makes sense. Somebody said, he was an idiot for playing baseball. I said, well, think about it. He's going to be playing for a lot longer, and he'll be making a lot more money while he's
Yeah,
doing it.
he's going to be
definitely.
he's going to be saving his body. He's going to be saving his legs, and he's going to be able to enjoy a career now in San Francisco, which it's an even year, folks. So it could be San Francisco's year. That means that they've won the World Series pennant every even year for the last 5 years. So that's
Is this
nuts.
it? This is it?
This is 2016, so it could be the year for them. I hope that the Cardinals beat them. But if as a Major League Baseball fan, I do like to see the Giants succeed. They're a great team. I like how Bruce Bochy manages that team.
Also, something I guess I haven't told you guys, but now that we're talking about it, I also want to always pitcher for the Minnesota Twins is from our hometown, Kyle Gibson. I don't want to give updates on him.
Sure, I'll keep it on the
throughout the whole season.
on
Which,
my
by
notes.
the way, was my pitching coach. You know that? Was my pitching coach for a few months. Him and his dad. It was his dad first, and then Kyle was my pitching coach for a while when I was, I think, in middle school.
Really?
Yeah.
I've talked to Zach O'Neill, that is, about Kyle and just asking him about him and stuff. And he says he talks to him every so often. And I know, I think Kirk Castrodale, he talks to him too. And Kyle got picked 22nd overall in the MLB. He got drafted to the Phillies in 2006, his senior year of high school. And he decided to go to Mizzou. He played at Mizzou for a while. He played in
Great career there.
Yeah, he had a great career there. Drafted 22nd overall, could have been first overall, but he came out with a forearm injury. He actually told everybody about it, which knocked him down a little bit. But for him to go 22nd overall with an injury, that's huge, especially coming out of Greenfield, Indiana.
From old Greenfield, Indiana. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys know this, my roots with Kyle go pretty deep also.
There you go.
I believe it was my junior year, his senior year, during homecoming week, we were on the same dodgeball team.
How is
Really?
that?
Write that down.
Lucky you were on the other side of the
I
court.
remember that.
Yeah.
He straight killed it.
Yeah, he was
I
awesome.
bet he did.
Because dude turned sideways, you couldn't see him.
Yeah.
He's got an arm from hell.
He's about 20 feet tall, too.
Yeah.
So. I saw him at the fairgrounds pitching at the, the Guessing Your Speed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. He was there for 25 minutes, I feel like, and just everyone watching him. It was great. It was really fun. And that was his first year in the MLB, so that was really cool. Him coming back home, and he didn't turn Hollywood like a lot of guys do.
He's a great guy.
He's a really good guy.
Oh my God, are you okay?
He's really cool
getting all
guy.
choked up about it. You just gotta relax.
No, it actually really hurt.
All right, well, as touching as the MLB is to chat at this moment,
We better move on.
Yeah, they're just getting started in Major League Baseball.
I'll keep you guys posted with that, though. It's news every week about the MLB.
Another sad coming to an end. College basketball. We're getting to the most exciting time of the year for those folks in March Madness. February is almost over. Bracketology is about to begin.
Oh, it's good stuff.
And right now, leading the way, I believe, I think I could say, in college basketball, the Big Ten and Big 12.
Yeah, they are. They're a ton of tournament teams in both, and a few bubble teams that even might sneak in there. But what I think is pretty crazy, IU on top, 11-3. Iowa's 11-3 in Conference 2, but IU has beat them
Just recently, last week.
Yes. And Maryland lost. Big loss, because now they're back a game. So that's really going to hurt them. Michigan State still has a chance. They're 9-5 in conference. Purdue is 9-5. IU does play Purdue tomorrow.
Big game.
Going to be a great game.
Yeah.
It'll be a great game.
But IU also has to play Iowa again and Maryland. So their schedule is not easy. But they have a chance to win it outright. So
when those guys get hot behind the 3-point line, I don't know if anybody can shut them down.
yeah, when they get hot out there, dude, they're lights out.
Sure. Speaking of the March Madness, I didn't include this in our rundown, but what do you guys think about this year being the year with all the upsets that 16 seed beats a 1 seed?
I think if
I
any
feel
year
like-
makes the most sense, this is the year.
I feel like there's a lot of mediocrity in the NCAA this year, and not to say maybe it's all greatness, maybe everybody's really really good, but it feels like a lot of teams with these number 1 seeds falling every week. It could be the year. It's never happened before. We always see a 15 take down a 2. It happens every year, once or twice every year. It seems like this could be the year though.
I don't know. Definitely happened.
I think we asked last week your final 5 because Kansas City gets a
Something
bye.
like that.
But who are your top 4 number 1 seeds right now?
I think who we'll talk about here in a minute. I think Kansas is going to get a number 1 seed.
I think that's completely non-biased for you.
No,
guys.
really.
I really do think that Chad
I think
thinks.
at this
I
point, it's
think the
fact.
whole table thinks
Yeah.
that too.
They ton of experience, great coach, and they're having a good season. That I think they're going to get a 1 seed. I really thought Iowa was going to get a 1 seed, but
Michigan State.
I
they
think that
lost.
That loss to IU probably took them down
Really?
a notch. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's strong still.
They still could, depending on how these games fall out. It's going to be close. I can definitely tell you one of my sleepers in this tournament is Michigan State.
Absolutely.
And not to call them a sleeper because Michigan State,
It's Tom Izzo, yeah.
they are ranked, I think, 9th right now. They'll probably move up to this week. But I think they're really coming together, and they're going to be a really tough team to beat in the tournament with Valentine. Oklahoma, if they win out, they will probably be a number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Which 2 Big 12 number 1s. Which is why I said the Big 12 is better. Remember on show number 1? Go back and watch that. I don't know, man. There's a lot of teams that could be number 1. It's gonna be really close coming down these last weeks. Some people have like Villanova, but Villanova to me is just Villanova.
I said this
They
last
get-
week.
They get into March Madness and their season's Villanova.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
Nice.
always lose.
Did you make that up just now?
I said,
Yeah, right.
I said that last week. I said that last week with Derek. Villanova's always that team that I take too far into the brackets, and it drives me nuts every year.
Oh yeah, dude. No,
It sucks.
they kill people. They
Yeah.
always do it. Which this year, and a lot of people are saying that this year might be different for them.
See, that's what I'm worried about though with the brackets. I always go in not knowing a lot about college basketball, just starting to watch it at the end of the football season, and I just think, oh, Nova, good, we're good.
Yeah.
We get them 2 rounds in.
Well, and they win so many games
Yeah,
because
exactly.
their conferences, especially now, and that conference is just falling apart. So they win all
Sure.
these games, and a lot of them are even blowouts. But they're pretty tough.
Would you rather be a number 1 seed or a maybe mid-range like 4 to 9 seed?
I like the 2 seed.
Yeah.
The 2 seed is always. I don't know why. I just think it always. And it has nothing to do statistically or strategy or anything
Well,
like
there's
that.
no-
It just seems like they always luck out, and they're always like at least 1 or 2 of the 2 seeds, and their way to get there. I always feel like it's Duke a lot. They always just have an easier route to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
But that's where I would want to be. I mean, if you had a choice, you'd be number 1. Once you start getting down to 9, it's tough because every game that you play is going to be tough.
It means something, yeah, sure.
Which, I mean, every game's tough in the NCAA tournament, even when you're playing those
That's
16 seeds.
That's
they're
what's
tough.
great about the NCAA tournament. I really do think that they've mastered that. Maybe the college football should take a little note. Not that they can do that, anything like that, but maybe adding a few more teams. We'll get into that later.
Me and you definitely agree on that, and I
Yeah.
think you think the same.
I just think that they've mastered it, really. Now, it used to be 36 teams, and it got moved to however many more. Now it's, 64 teams, technically like 66, because there's the play-in games or whatever.
Mhm.
which it maybe got a little carried away, but it's perfect every year.
Yep.
I mean, maybe aside from last year, maybe a couple years ago, everyone was a 1 seed. That doesn't happen often. Every
But I
so
mean,
often you get that Cinderella that's in
but
there.
even if that does happen, like
it's still the best
games.
teams.
The games are so much fun to watch.
Well,
Everything's online. Those games. They're
a
playing their hearts out. I mean, there's tears after the games. I mean, it's
appointment viewing for anybody that wants to watch it.
It's just one of the best sporting events you could ever watch all throughout March. It's just awesome.
Sports fan or not, it's appointment viewing for whoever want to watch it, because at work most people get brackets, they put money into it, and the craziest thing and my favorite thing really about the March Madness is there's no strategy to it. You just write down your brackets and submit them, and anybody could be right. What was it, 5 or 10 years ago, a woman got everyone right because she went off of the mascots or the colors of the jerseys.
Yeah.
What is that? That's crazy.
I'm about to do the same thing.
Yeah, why not?
Which mascot would win in a fight in real life?
There you go.
Well, and when you do have the Cinderella story to come, it's just awesome.
Yeah,
like
sure.
One of those small schools, like even Butler. When Butler
Sure.
made that first
Oh,
run, it was unbelievable.
When
That was
Butler did that,
fantastic.
I ripped up my bracket and I just watched them. It was great. I was a bandwagon fan, and I'll admit it right now. It's on tape.
They did 2 years in a
great
row.
year. Yeah, those were great 2 years.
Speaking of Indiana schools, guys, how many Indiana schools do you think could make it to the Sweet 16 this year?
Whew.
I think
Indiana.
I think
or
IU.
Big Ten. You said
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think IU with their 3-ball, man, they could get there. If they stay hot, they could go farther than that. I really do think, and they've been playing really good D, which a lot of these teams that get in there, that's what gets them in trouble is their defense. They can shoot lights out, but if you don't play defense, and IU's good at turning defense into offense. I think especially over this past couple months, I think they've been really good at that.
Sure.
Purdue's pretty good. They don't quite have the guards, but they have great post play. That's what's going to be fun to watch tomorrow.
Sure.
IU versus Purdue.
Absolutely.
That offense against those big men, it's going to be pretty cool to watch. But other than that, I don't know. Butler's kind of falling off.
This is gonna sound
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah,
They're on and off this year. You know.
Really?
yeah.
I
They are back and forth. It's gonna sound kind of biased. I think if they're on, they're on. They've scored a few real big upsets this year,
Mhm.
and I think they could beat most teams in the tournament.
This is non-biased. I really think they're good, and I think they're rolling off of the confidence that they gained last year. I really think that they can go. I think they'll. I don't know. It's hard to say because of what we just talked about, the parity that's there. But with a decent seed, I think they could easily walk into the Sweet 16. And then that's when they really got to get gritty and start playing their ball.
Yeah.
I think that they really miss a player like Grant. I think that's the one thing they're missing is a player like that. And they don't have a lot of post scoring, which gets them in trouble. But they can shoot the ball pretty well, and they can penetrate real well.
They can get boards
I'm
too.
pretty sure Luke Herringody has 1 year left of eligibility.
Bring him
Is
back.
it too late?
I worked with his brother. I worked security with his brother.
Really?
Did
he have
Pacers?
Did he have Catholic hair too?
Oh yeah, definitely.
The best Catholic hair in the game.
Nice. Good for
Strong.
him.
Didn't move.
Herringody was on the Pacers for a little bit, wasn't
No, you're thinking of Tyler Hansborough.
he? No, I'm not thinking.
That's
I
not
thought.
Notre Dame.
No, I'm not thinking Hansborough, but I thought.
Oh, wait,
Tyler.
Tyler. Huh?
I know it's not Notre Dame. He was North Carolina.
Okay, anyway.
You're North Carolina. Anyway.
Right. Well, we're gonna stick with basketball. On to the NBA.
Oh wait, first off, by the way, Kansas.
Back to college basketball.
Kansas is going to win their 12th Big 12 title after beating Oklahoma again. Scheduled pretty easy. They had to play Iowa State at the end of the year, but they're probably going to win again. Rock Chalk Jayhawks. Sorry to interrupt you going.
That's good. On to basketball at the professional level. The NBA. Lots of headlines from the NBA.
A lot going on.
I will say before we get too deep, Pacers tonight beat the Oklahoma City Thunder.
There you go.
They're getting hot, man.
Yeah, they are, and I think in a timely fashion.
I think this small, fast thing that they're going with right now is really working for them.
Miles Turner, I think, is the missing ingredient.
Monte Ellis was a great pickup.
Monte's a great pickup, and I think coming out of the All-Star break, they're finally hitting their rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Chemistry is building, and I think this is where they march.
That's what I like about the NBA and the MLB. They have the All-Star break in the middle, gives you time to relax, stretch your legs a little bit,
Yeah.
get back into it, full go, and onto the finals.
And I watched some highlights of the game just while we were preparing for the show tonight. And I can't wait to you guys see some of the moves that Miles Turner threw up.
Hey,
Not like vomited, but like
that's
put up.
That's crazy. He's 19 and he's doing what he's doing. I think he's got a great future.
And I cannot wait. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. He's talking about. I literally was at work on my phone watching his announcement live where he's going to go to college, and it was between Kansas and Texas, and he chose Texas, and I was so mad. Threw my phone, I like tweeted at him and stuff. I was like, "You're an idiot."
You showed him.
He went to Texas, had a decent year, and I cannot wait until it comes up on my time hop. But I cannot wait to bring up my tweet that said Miles Turner is going to be a great pick at that spot.
For sure.
He had a mediocre at Texas. Mediocre career there in that 1 year, but he's so young and he's super talented. He really is. I like him a lot.
I'm glad that we talked about him first because something I didn't mention in the NCAA that I want to mention now with the NBA, because it's really the NBA's rule, is the one and done rule. Do you think it's best for these guys to do that in some cases, or is it should they stay and play and develop? Or are they learning bad habits in college that they're maybe not using so much in the NBA?
I've got a pretty passionate 2 cents worth of opinion on that.
Well, I'm glad I asked. Let's hear it.
Well, I also glad you asked. Do I think that they're hurting themselves by getting out of college early? No. Look how many people are struggling to find a job that have a degree. And once they have a job with a degree, I think median pay is like $35,000, dude.
Sure, but how many of these guys have a degree when they come out of the NBA after 3 or 4 years of playing in the D League?
Go to trade school. Start out at $50,000 a year.
All right, thanks. That's enough for us. We'll
Thank
see
you
you
very
next
much.
time.
College is a waste of money, kids. Don't ever go.
But
No, I
yeah.
it's turned into a PSA of the wrong type. But no, I don't think that. I mean, they're taking a chance.
Sure.
And it just takes one thing to happen for them to step up. One great game, they get their minute of fame, or maybe they carry the momentum a little further.
I agree with you.
About hating college.
Yes. Mom goes to college. No. I see both sides of it. I mean, I would definitely go to the NBA. You can't blame these kids for going to the NBA.
Sure.
And if anyone says that they wouldn't, they're lying.
You're wrong.
I mean, I know some players stay that could go, but if you're going to be a first-round pick, see you later.
Yeah.
But I hate it, and also because you can also get injured in college and you can hurt your chances of going to the NBA.
Sure.
It happens a lot.
Yep.
But I hate it for college basketball. I hate it for college
that's
basketball
what kills
because it would make college basketball so much better if they did. I mean, it's already awesome, but it would make it so much better if they had just 2 years. Just do 2 years.
Well, it could be like football, 3 years.
Yeah.
Take out your senior year.
I think it should be 3 years, but even 2 years. That
Yeah.
one extra year. I mean, but it's also you can stay there and you can get better. But I feel like if you're going to do that, you're going to stay, you're doing that anyway because you're not quite ready and you're not going to be a first-round draft pick. So I see both sides.
If they made you stay for 3 years, you know how many more banners Kentucky would have?
Stop.
It would be different, though. It would be different.
That's
It
true,
would be
because
totally
every
different.
team would be involved. That's true.
And it would actually take away from that.
How many of those guys from Kentucky aren't going to go to Kentucky because they know they're not going to be able to stay for 1 year and leave? They're going to go to different schools.
Well, they wouldn't go because Kentucky would already be loaded and they wouldn't be having playing time.
There you go.
They get a recruiting class like that. It would help every
Everybody.
team. It would help every team
Absolutely.
in that aspect of making it more even.
All right. I just wanted to ask that. I'm glad we
Don't go
talked
to
about
college.
that. No,
Don't ever go to college unless you go to Ivy Tech.
Back to
Golden
the
Grizzly
NBA.
Bears.
Back to the NBA. I'm sorry. I had to ask though. That's a big question.
Yeah.
Tons of trades though in the NBA.
Yeah, a lot of trades. I think I was talking about this weeks ago. Markieff Morris, who I think the Clippers should have tried to work something out with Blake Griffin.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. He is now a Washington Wizard.
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 Level 6 wizard.
Level 7.
Whoa.
Chris Humphries is going to Phoenix along
Who is
with.
Chris Humphries? The only way I even know Chris Humphries is that he dated Kim Kardashian.
He was a
I swear to
Kardashian
God,
from
no.
that, yeah.
I've never even seen him play ball. I've seen him like on the court.
The
a couple
Kardashians
times.
are doing great things for nobodies.
Yeah.
for stars in the league.
No, but he's garbage, and I have no idea how he's still in the NBA because he's not good.
Well, with that being said, the Phoenix Suns got him and DeJuan Blair. What a steal for the
Yeah.
for the Wizards.
I think so.
I don't hate DeJuan. DeJuan's not bad. He can put up some good rebounding numbers, but that's definitely a good trade for me.
It'll be nice to see Markieff Morris get to play with somebody like John Wall.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll elevate his game a whole hell of a lot.
And the Wizards they're close. John Wall has become the John Wall that everybody thought. I mean,
Is that still a thing?
he's killing the assist thing.
Am I doing it wrong?
I
I think it was just in the root. I don't know.
something like that. But they need some more pieces, and that's not going to do it. They need more than him, but they're getting better, and if they can keep Wall and add some pieces there, they could be pretty good soon.
Sure. Some other trades that we got. Three-way trade between Utah, Atlanta, and Chicago. Utah got Shelvin Mack, which I'll get to that in a second. Atlanta Hawks got Kirk Hintrick, and the Bulls picked up Justin Holiday. So
Kirk Heinrich.
Kirk Heinrich.
Yeah,
Sorry,
there you
I'm
go.
not good with names. So, but what I wanted to say about Shelvin Mack, he's getting back with his boy from Butler, Gordon Hayward. And I think that could be a good reunion for them.
Hey, I was always a Butler fan, okay?
Yeah.
No.
So the Portland Trail Blazers in another three-way trade picked up Harrison Varejao and some future first-round draft picks from the Cavs. Cavs got Channing Frye.
I've always liked Channing Frye. I think he's pretty underrated. He's a good shooter. He's
Yeah.
kind of old.
Yeah, I just feel like that's his only weapon is a step-out guy. I don't think he's good at anything else. But
Okay,
he's good
well,
at that.
I'm wrong at everything. So.
And the third
You're to hear.
The third team in that got Jared Cunningham. It was Orlando for some more second-round picks. The Cavs get a third-round player or third 3-point player in Fry. And do you think that he's the answer in Cleveland? I mean, should they have done something with Love? You know,
I've never liked Kevin Love, so maybe because he reminded me of Kevin Federline. Is that weird?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I do. I think Love and Tristan Thompson are great. They're huge. That is enough, but it's just a problem that is it enough to be Golden State?
yeah, that was my next question. Are all these trade? We didn't even list all the trades, but there's a lot of no ones that got traded because next year the salary cap's going up, so not a lot of big all-stars got moved around. But are these trades that did happen, are they enough to compete with Golden State and even the Spurs?
No.
No, I don't think so either. I think that these are small trades to make for building blocks for next season. That's just my opinion.
I think the Thunder somehow maybe could pull a miracle and beat them, but I don't think they will. And maybe the Rockets, and I don't even think. And those are the only two I think even in like discussion that are even close. Besides, or the Spurs or Golden State.
I would even rule out Houston as having a shot at that.
Yeah,
I think
I mean,
if any one team has a shot, a fraction of a chance to beat Golden State in a 7-game series, the Thunder. I mean, once those dudes get rolling, not against the Pacers tonight, obviously.
Yeah.
But once those dudes start gelling together, I think they've got plenty of chemistry.
Sure.
know,
You guys mentioned the Rockets. Do you think that Dwight Howard should have been moved around a little bit? Maybe rented to another team to finish out the year? And do you think that the tension between Howard and James Harden is real? Do you think he'll be there next year?
I think that Dwight Howard has tension with everybody, no matter where he goes.
I think he still thinks he's an all-star from Orlando.
Yeah.
He's getting old.
I think I don't know. I struggle with watching big men play basketball. And it's tough because I'm 5'10", and I think, man, if I were 7 foot tall, I would play like I was a tree. You know,
sure.
Come move me, I dare you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what was most frustrating with me about Roy Hibbert. Dude is 7'2", and he's playing like a Girl Scout, man.
God,
you know,
he was soft.
You're the biggest man on the floor. Do something.
I think David West made him what he is and got him out of there. David West, when he was on the court with what's his name, he made him good. Roy Hibbert.
What is his name?
Yeah, who cares? He's
I think the question is Dwight Howard worth it anymore? Is it worth his antics, his attitude? I think he has the worst attitude in NBA history.
Sure.
Can't stand it. I think he's a baby, a crybaby. Not fight him. I'd probably maybe win.
I don't think he'd win.
Well, that's to be determined. But
Whoa.
I
It's a
just
Kepper dab.
Yeah.
is he worth it? Is he worth all that? And is he good enough still to deal with that? I mean, because that was what it was before. Is oh, he has all this. He can't get along with anyone. He's a big baby.
Yeah.
He doesn't take the game seriously. But he's really talented and really good. But now it's like, is it worth taking a chance on him? I don't know. I wouldn't personally.
Sure. Speaking of bad attitude, do you think Blake Griffin will be a Clipper at the end of 2017?
Most likely.
Think they'll bring him back?
I think they probably, from what I've heard, they have no plans to move him.
Not right now.
Pretty adamantly that they want him to be in LA, and I don't think that'll expire at the end of the season.
Sure.
I don't. Sorry.
No.
Well, he's
you
got one more.
first.
He's got one
I
more
thought
season
you
on
were
his
gonna say.
contract. He's got one more season on his contract. It said 2017. Will he play the rest of this season and next, and still be around?
I think, I don't think it's as big as this whole situation. I don't think it's as big as deal as everyone's making it. Inside,
I'm not even trying to talk about it. I'm not even trying to bring
I'm
that
saying,
up.
but that's where when the trade talk came from. They weren't talking about trading him before that.
You're right.
But I don't think it's that big a deal. Then I think they're like, okay, you can
I
punch.
know where you're going.
You can punch a trainer every once in a while if you want. But I think having DeAndre Jordan, who's a little bit
Better.
a little
Yep.
bit. Not
Said it
quite
for
as
me.
not
Yeah,
quite
I
as
know.
good, but he's good. I think having those two.
Stop.
I think having those two. I think that's a good combo. And
Matt looked
I'd
over
be
at me
keeping-
and I was like, I know what you're thinking. Like, when is he gonna say it?
I would be keeping Blake Griffin now.
Okay.
Go ahead and say your DeAndre Jordan's better than Blake Griffin. Matt thinks DeAndre Jordan's better than Blake Griffin. You heard it here first on Late Hit.
See me, past me talking to future me. High five yourself when DeAndre Jordan gets into the NBA Hall of Fame and Blake Griffin's not because he's a turd. He's not a turd. He's really good.
Yeah.
But
I do like Jordan. I think Jordan's good.
He's
I just don't think he's better than Blake.
Well, I think we talked about DeAndre's not a scorer, right? We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Yeah,
to an
those
extent.
were your words.
I think he can score. I don't think he can create his own shot. I don't think he can shoot. I think he can dunk, and I think he scores points.
What else do you need in Lob City?
Whoa.
Obviously, a
Strong.
little bit more.
Really? Because they're killing it right now.
Well, you know who else is in L.A.?
JJ Redick, best player on the planet.
No, not who you thought I was gonna say.
Maybe he is good now. He's
Yeah.
really good.
Byron Scott is still in L.A. He's coaching for the L.A. Lakers.
Mhm.
After Kobe leaves, do you guys think he'll still be the coach there? It's pretty much inevitable that they're gonna get him out of there.
I don't know. It's too hard to tell with like this team and them being so terrible. Like, and they're all so young. I actually think they have a good little young nucleus there. But I think that it's all players that are going to have to grow and
Sure.
get better. And
Well-
not Anthony Davis and all that. But I think you'll find out if
Sure.
he's a good coach and if he can bring them along. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen him coach long enough.
If he leaves, who do you think's coming in? Do you think Luke Walton has a chance, or maybe Tom Thibodeau?
I think it'd be cool to see Luke Walton in there.
I think so too, and I think Luke Walton should be acknowledged for his success with the Warriors. Now,
Mhm.
it's hard to say that it was all him, but they are using some of the things that he did while their head coach was gone. They're using that in practice now, like things that he's implemented,
Mm-hmm.
which is great for him. I mean, great young coach, full of life there.
Now,
Yeah, I would like to see him there.
They've still only lost 4 games. Is that right?
The Warriors,
Yeah, I believe it's still 4.
man, that's
Didn't
wild.
I?
could be wrong.
And again, I'm gonna say it. I said it last week. They're gonna break the record by 2 games.
That's strong, man.
I'm telling you, they're on track for it.
I mean, it's, yeah.
Anything could happen. Injuries haven't even happened to that team yet.
It's because they didn't hold anything back.
They can easily do it. I mean,
2 games.
I would not be surprised if they did it, I'll tell you that. But
I wouldn't be surprised, but easily is hard for me to swallow there. That's
Did I say easily?
You said
I
easily.
mean, they lost 4 games.
I know, but it's just they gotta play this. They gotta play the Spurs 2 more times, and
Yeah.
there's a lot going on there.
I can go with it.
Anytime Steph Curry's ankles could just go.
Don't talk. Knock on wood right now.
Stop.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
If I'm the Warriors, I'm not afraid of the Spurs at all. They outpace them. They outplay them. They outshoot them.
I can't agree with that.
Thoughts?
It's true. I mean, the Spurs maybe could beat them. I think they have the best chance to beat them. You can maybe say the Thunder, but
in a 7-game series, though, Chad, come on.
They're not going to beat them.
They're going to wear them down.
They're not going to beat them. I tell you that right now. There's no way.
Greg Popovich is arguably the best coach in managing time, and you think that they're going to outplay him?
I think that they're not.
It's not.
Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, you have Leonard, but
Timmy
everyone
Duncan?
else is old.
Oh, but they're hot when it matters. They're hot.
Oh, it's very
They're hot when
true.
it matters.
And I think that they're going to meet them there. Maybe the Thunder. I don't know. But I mean, I don't think they're going to beat them.
Okay.
I really don't. But I mean, I think if anyone could, it's Popovich and them. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
They're too good. They're way too good.
They're super
Alright.
good.
Do
Do you think it's the best team of well, we did this last time.
No, I don't want
We're
to
not
talk
doing
about
it.
this.
No, look at this.
Not doing it. Sorry, I'm starting to get.
Oh, do you
Cunningham.
you still have that list?
The top.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. I could look it up real fast, but I don't even want to get into it.
Mm,
ESPN made a list of the top 100 players of all time in the NBA, and I don't want to talk about it because I know they included current players, and I don't believe in adding current players to stats of the all-time list because they're not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be for another show, though. They also did the top 10 at each position, and before this show even started, we put together our starting 5 all time, and I included Tim Duncan, which I'm going to win against my own rule. But man, he's played for so long. He's seen both sides of the generation there.
And we went with a no Michael Jordan rule.
Yeah, we went with a no Michael Jordan rule because that's just fair.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Who was your point guard? Did you go as a?
If you guys
I think I went
feel
with
some
Kid,
time, I can
didn't I?
talk it up. I can look it up.
Kid? No, I don't remember.
If you guys want to talk about something else, I can
Yeah,
look it up.
we'll do that. All I know is I took best point guard of all time, Steve Nash. Let's go to the East, because everybody talks about the West, and literally the only time the East is mentioned is when they talk about LeBron James. I'm getting sick of that. In fact, there was an app today about sporting news I came across, and it said "All Hail the King" on the advertisement for this app, and it was LeBron. And I just scrolled past it. 'Cause I'm so sick of him.
I'm glad that you brought that up though, and I'll throw this in while I look at stuff. 14 years ago Thursday, Sports Illustrated, the magazine, put out their shot, and they pointed out to the outfield, and they said they came out with the issue, The Chosen One. LeBron James, sophomore or junior in high school, on the cover, The Chosen One. Thoughts? Maybe who's the next chosen one?
I don't think
I'll
there
stop
is
and
one
listen.
yet. I think if you're gonna put anyone there, and I still believe this, and mark my words, just wait. He's already getting there.
Let me write it down first.
Thank you. You're gonna need to do that. I think between these past few years, the only one that you can really say is Andrew Wiggins, and he's quietly popping off and flying out the gym in Minnesota. He's getting better and better, and I think that's the only one that you can even put close into the category of the chosen one. You know what I mean? I don't think any of them. I don't think Ben Simmons is. I think he's a very good player, and he's going to be a good NBA player, but I don't think Buddy Hield is, Valentine, anybody like that, not in college basketball right now.
Sure.
I thought that was the question. Who's in college basketball going to be in it? I thought you were going to say Denzel Valentine. What about a guy like Paul George? You think he's about to take the league over?
I mean, he's been one of the best players, in my opinion, for a few years now.
I think 3 years running he's been strong. Sans the injury.
I mean, he's unguardable. He's one of the few guys that are unguardable, and
Great hair.
yeah, great hair.
Bad news, guys. I think Facebook has deleted our history that far back.
We send 1,000 messages a day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is literally all we do. We just communicate all day about this.
So you're welcome. I'm
Yeah.
hoping we're putting together a good enough show.
By the way, I forgot to shout this out. We have purchased a new camera.
Yeah.
Should be
What do you
HD.
think?
We haven't really tested it yet,
No
but it's
idea.
supposed to be. It says HD on it, unless that
Yeah.
stands for huge donkey or something. I don't know.
We did not get a huge donkey with our camera. We'll talk to Best Buy about
Put
that.
my tongue there.
Yep. You killed it. Sure did.
Uh,
the show was for the kids.
I personally would like to thank my wife,
Cold.
Jade Haberman, for
Jade.
buying the camera for
Thank you,
us
Jade.
and throwing some money at us. That was really
And letting
awesome.
us be in your home. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Also, I hope we're not waking you up right now.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, we're doing this show. It's called The Late Hit for a reason. It's like, what, 11 something? It's like midnight right now.
Good.
So hopefully we're keeping it quiet.
If we're waking you up, Jade, please leave a comment. Also, maybe tweet at us at the late hit 317.
Nice
Thank you.
plug
Like
there.
that. And subscribe. I don't think you've done that yet. I get an email. I haven't seen your name. Well, guys, I think that's about it. Unless you had something else, some final thoughts, closing thoughts.
No, next week I think we'll get we'll redo our starting 5 in the NBA of all time, and we'll maybe talk about the list. I'm gonna try to not complain too much about the current players on the list, but that's whatever. That'll be worth a discussion.
Might start doing showing some of my mock draft that I've been doing too. Might as well start doing that. Never too early.
Comment and tweet at us what you guys want to hear about too.
Yeah, do that. Cool. Thanks, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Subscribe right there. I don't even know if I'm pointing at the thing. And Twitter again at the late hit 317. Matt Foster, Chad Simpson, Habe. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
See ya.